There's been a little bit of a to-do about David Miller, ex-Bristol University bloke. He's a few weeks ago tweeted some stuff about certain powerful groups. Seemed fairly uncontroversial if you're not sort of buying into that anti-Semitism stuff. Not sure about this guy Miller. I don't really like him. He's far too pro-Islam. He's on Press TV, Iranian channel. Um, so I'm not going to go really defend him that much, but overall, but you got to name the enemy, and you got to know who the enemy is, and he's making, to his credit, Miller, when he's talking about the British stuff, the local stuff, he backs it up with facts and figures. He's a evidence-based, empirical evidence-based sociologist, unlike sort of Keith Kahn Harris, who's more of a feels type of sociologist. So you got to give him. He's got has some credibility, and he has been praised for that. He backs it up, and he's making some simple observations about power dynamics and wealth and influence and power. How it intersects with ethnicity, religion. Certain groups are very powerful, and the group he named is very rich and powerful, the richest and most powerful group in probably in the history of the world in recent decades. Very, very rich and powerful and influential, and that does have an effect for everyone else. We can't ignore reality. Trotskyist bloke Daniel Randall, he's bought in. He's wrote an article critical of him. He's quoted Kahn Harris and Gidley and Co., who I mentioned before in another video, about their thesis trying to defend a liberal capitalism, a liberal defense of the oligarchy, Jewish or not, presenting the rigged economy. And we have to say that it's rigged. The economy is rigged. And it couldn't be any other way. You couldn't have a global capitalist oligarchy that I talk about all the time. They couldn't maintain their power along with the ruling class, the political class. They cannot maintain this hegemony without conspiring. It's an obvious comment. I've made it before. Um, the conspiracies must exist. Otherwise, these people would not have the power and the hegemony of the financial dominance, whether they're Jews or not, in the oligarchy. And, we know Miller has pointed it out that even compared to groups with higher, uh, similar educational attainment, such as Hindus, Indians, East Asians, are still much richer than those people. Perhaps because they were established earlier. They're more recent. Disraeli was Prime Minister 1880s. And the Rothschilds and Warburg type people have been around for over 200 years. So they're far more established, but there is also these networks that are stopping Hindus, Buddhists, secular Indians and East Asians, Japanese, Koreans, Chinese from getting ahead in certain situations. And we know that there's a certain group in the United States, in Harvard and Yale, who are stopping these people from entering these Ivy League colleges in the Northwest. And it's just a statement of fact. We know who these people are, and they have to be named. And Miller is naming names. And that's just the reality. That's just what life is. Powerful groups become powerful. Certain groups want to dominate and take over and exploit other groups. And we must name those groups in the appropriate arenas. And that's what Miller's doing. We must have, even in the elite, you could have a meritocracy. And even if that doesn't do much for the wretched of the earth, and the working class and the underclass and the lower middle class even. But there's no meritocracy there because certain groups, a certain group is maintaining dominance and hegemony, and that's just a fact. Daniel Randall, there's no this Trotskyist, no idea. This bloke, the Trotskyists have no idea. They're just so terrible at everything. They're so it's a nightmare having to deal with these people. Gillian Lazarus was a Trotskyist as a teenager, she revealed. So this is the level of nonsense from the Trotskyists. No analysis at all. You just and if the reality, if the real world, world events are anti-Semitic or Islamophobic, as a made-up word, that's the reality is reality. We must name certain religious groups as the enemy. There are elements within those groups that are the enemy of the human race. Very large, dangerous groups, and they are a menace to the rest of the human race. And we must, I think it's C.J. Hopkins, he blocked me on, what's it, Substack. He didn't like it. He did say once, though, he said, these people are the enemy and should be treated as such. And that's the reality. There's a brute reality there that we have to deal with. And if that's is anti-Semitic or Islamophobic or anti-white or anti-black, certain things I'm not. One thing I'm not is a white supremacist. If you've ever heard my opinions on Europeans or pale-skinned people, I'm not a white supremacist by any means. But Andy Fleming made that comment. Insinuated we must reality must be dealt with. And David Miller, for all his faults, his apologies for Islam, the evil, very evil ideology that is, even Shiites, not as evil the Shiites as the Sunnis, but still evil. We must deal with the evil, and whatever that takes, whatever it takes to deal with the enemies of the human race and the wretched of the earth. We have to liberate the wretched of the earth, the battlers and the like, from the evil. And we must be prepared to do anything, absolutely anything, prepared to do anything to achieve that liberation. But this Daniel Randall, he's just a tribalist, isn't he? His loyalty is not to the working class, the underclass, the wretched of the earth. His first loyalty is to his tribe. And you see that a lot in Trotskyists and ex-Trotskyists. Very evil Trotsky. Very depraved, sick dog Trotsky was. He was a smart man, though. In some ways, he did make some smart observations. But overall, the whole package of Trotskyism is a terrible burden. And it can't be tolerated. These people must be defeated.